You know what's even stronger than telling a story?
What's that?
When you trigger chemicals in your client's brain where they don't even know that it's happening, they want to tell you their story. And that's what Visnostic Statements does. Instead of me being the one telling a story to my clients, the clients end up telling me their story. It's crazy when you watch it work.
This episode is brought to you in part by TSE Certified Sales Training Program. It's a program designed to help sales rep and sales team to improve their skills. Teaches you how to find the right customers, what activities, what strategies work, how you go about asking the right questions to build strong value, and what you need to do to close more deals. If you want to test it out for yourself, go to thesalesevangelist.com/free course to get the first 2 modules absolutely free. Again, thesalesevangelist.com/free course. This episode is also brought to you in part by Audible. Knowing that you're a savvy salesperson, you're here, you want to learn, you want to grow. Check out Audible. They have thousands of titles that you can choose from. Take advantage of the 30-day free trial as well as a free book. Simply go to audibletrial.com/TSE. Again, audibletrial.com/TSE. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist podcast. I'm your host, Donald Kelly, the Sales Evangelist, and I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode, we have Kimberlee Slavik. Kimberlee is an author, and today we're going to talk about her book and her experience on how she helps individuals and companies to increase their sales and profit. She has years of experience working with large clients and also helping individuals like you and me. So I'm interested in tapping into her mindset to learn some of her strategies and some of her concepts that can help all of us. Check it out. Welcome to the show, Kimberlee.
Hi there. How are you doing?
You know, I can't complain. It's another beautiful day in paradise. But you know what? Even more so, I'm excited to talk to you today about the Visnostic Selling process. And the cool thing about this is that it's neuroscience approach. And you're going to give us some great insights on that. I'm looking forward to talking to you about it. But before we dive into all the fun stuff, why don't you tell us a little bit more about you and what you do, Kimberlee?
Well, if I told you how long I'd been selling, you'd think I was 100 years old. So let's just say that I've been selling a really long time. And a lot of my experience, I just really thought it was a lot of dumb luck. And one day I was reading, I was listening to an audio tape with Michael Bosworth's latest book, which is What Great Salespeople Do. And it's all about storytelling and the neuroscience and how this chemical reaction happens in your brain, and why the Bible is the best-selling book of all time, because it's full of stories and it helps you visualize things. And it was so hard because this guy was really resonating with me, and I was driving, so I couldn't highlight the book or take notes or anything. But it was the first time in my entire career that I realized that there was a science behind how successful I had been. So in my career, I've sold a lot of very complex, intangibles. Intangibles are really difficult to sell because you have to really qualify your clients really well so you know how to articulate what you can do for them. And I think I've sold almost $2 billion in my career. So that tells you how long I've been selling. And now I'm really excited to explain to people the science and, how they can do the same thing and not take as long as I did to figure out how to do it right.
So that is a very interesting book, by the way, and congratulations on the career. I mean, I don't think that just shows that you've been really, really good. $2 billion worth in business closed. I see that as someone that can teach us a lot. So thank you for being here and your willingness to share this, and congratulations again on success and also your book. Why don't you tell us about that for a second, about your book?
So Visnostics is a trademarked word, and it's spelled V as in Victor, ISNOSTIC. And it's 2 words. It's visualization and diagnostics put together, Visnostic. It's extremely powerful when instead of you going and showing a bunch of slides or a brochure or a website full of words to say, these are all the things we can do for you, when you get rid of that and you reword everything to be person as though the client was actually saying it triggers a completely different response in the brain. And then the order in which you put the words in your statements, and I want to stress, this is not a questionnaire. When I say a diagnostic, a lot of people are going to think, oh yeah, this is more consultative selling back in, the 90s. Consultative selling, I had taken so many courses that teach you how to ask questions, how to diagnose, but I've noticed body language with my clients, like they were annoyed. And if you ever get a call and someone wants to conduct a survey, are you like, oh, cool, I can't wait to do the survey. I love it when people, or you're walking through the mall and says, do you have time for a quick survey? Oh my God, yes, I live for this. We don't react that way. But doing a statement instead of a question, and then telling the person that they need to respond 3 ways. I can say this today. I wish I could say this today. Or I don't know, it's not important, not applicable. And if you can say it today, you've got to score yourself 1 to 5. 1 meaning you've got a long ways to go. 5 meaning it's perfect. They're so engaged and they brace themselves. They're ready to hear what you're about to say, because they have to concentrate on how they respond to you. So you talk about hijacking a brain and getting them engaged from the beginning. This is the most powerful thing I've ever seen happen in my sales career.
Yeah, interesting. And I feel one of the cool things, what you're sharing there, I mean, the vision and diagnostics, and we also talked a little bit about storytelling and how that can help, like in so many ways. We all love stories. I can tell you, I love hearing a good story myself. But I think we forget that sometimes when we go meet with a client, we're just thinking, oh, well, we just got to give them the facts. And no matter who they are, people just don't want the facts. If you can tell them a story, you're way more likely to advance the opportunity.
Yes, you are so right. And you know what's even stronger than telling a story?
What's that?
When you trigger chemicals in your client's brain where they don't even know that it's happening, they want to tell you their story. And that's what Visnostic Statements does. Instead of me being the one telling a story to my clients, the clients end up telling me their story. It's crazy when you watch it work.
So true. Well, let's go and just dive into this, because this is a great tool as well. We talked about that. Let's say I'm a new sales rep and I'm working for a company, and I'm just starting and I want to be able to really do well. How could I go ahead and apply this concept?
Donald, this is the power of the book, Visnostic Selling. I take people on a journey. I have a lot of exercises and things in the book that it's supposed to stimulate a 30-year career. I'm trying to help people have the passion and the belief and the understanding that this stuff really works. It's almost like a magic trick when you do the exercises in the book. But if you will be patient and get all the way through the end result is I have some pretty complicated algorithms and formulas that I actually had to pay someone smarter than me to create.
Yeah.
But I'm going to teach people how to create a spreadsheet where one column will be all the Visnostic statements that they develop. And part of the book is how to develop powerful Visnostic statements. And then there's another column that's going to map each Visnostic statement to a summarization of a statement of work. In other words, how you can turn a non-strength into a strength, how you're going to do it. And all a salesperson would have to do is take a tablet with this spreadsheet on it, maybe an hour or 2 hours of training on how to fill it out correctly, and they can be confident and competent to be in front of clients their second day on the job. They just take the tablet, they go through the statements with the client, they do that process that I already explained where I'm going to make a statement and you just have to respond to me. I can say this today, and then score yourself 1 to 5, or I wish I could say this today, or I don't know, it's not important. And the salesperson just puts a check mark or an X, whatever they want in most of those spaces on the spreadsheet, or a 1 through 5. And it will automatically generate these dashboards that are really cool looking, that you can flip your tablet around and show the client, okay, based on what you just responded me with, here's your strength areas. Congratulations, you're doing a great job in these areas. Here's the areas, the next level where there's some room for improvement, but you're still doing pretty well. And here's exactly how we can turn those into strengths. And then here's the areas that have the biggest room for improvement. And I'll tell you, the response from the client is amazing. And a salesperson, even on day 2, will have instant credibility because they're not only diagnosing what's wrong and what the priorities are with the client, they're actually capable with no product training, no product knowledge, explaining how they're going to make a non-strength into a strength.
Interesting. Let's say that I'm selling, I always use this example. So let's just, I hate to put you on the spot. I feel that you have the wonderful talent and skill, so you can play with me with this. I am a sales rep and I'm selling office furnitures. What would you be willing to give an example of how I could use that, or what are some of the statements that I probably could utilize in an example?
Sure. I'm actually writing special edition books right now. I just finished one with realtors. I'm doing one with car salesmen, and I've got an interview sheet that I've put together to do with a car salesman. Sweet. And this is applicable for furniture salespeople as well. So the first thing we want to do, and since this is a visualization book, I'm going to give you some information and some education right now that you'll remember forever, because I'm going to paint a visualization for you. I want you to envision a dollar sign, a clock, and a toolbox. And if you can remember a dollar sign, a clock, and a toolbox, what those represent are results, right? The dollar sign is a result. It's not always monetary, but usually there's a monetary value associated with a result. The next thing is a timeline. In other words, if I can say that I will save you $1 million, right? That's the result. It's a very different if I save that in a year versus I save that at your first month, right? Yeah. So the timeline is really important in the impact. So your first words are, I'm going to save you $1 million in a month. And then you say how? By replacing your other furniture with this new furniture that's aerodynamic, and your employees are so much more comfortable. They're going to work longer hours. They're going to make more money. That's just, I'm completely off the chart insane in that Visnostic statement, but I wanted you to see the methodology. So for me to sit down with you and come up with true Visnostic statements, I do this in a workshop where I take Post-it notes, and each one of the Post-it notes are different colors. And the first thing you want to do is figure out segmentation. Okay. So what kind of furniture are we selling? Are we selling office furniture? Are we selling furniture for your living room or your bedroom? So we might want to segment it by usage, like what furniture is being used for what. And then we'll drill down into what are the results? Why is your bed better than, Joe's furniture down the street? We need to flesh out all the differentiations. Most of the time, you're going to get that information from past clients. Clients will tell you more than your marketing department ever will, because they're actually using whatever it is that you're selling.
Interesting.
And that's where you get the result. And then, of course, the timeline. And then you already know the how, because that's what marketing is so good at producing.
Hey, I know it's getting good, but we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, Kimberly's going to pick up where we left off and continue to share with you ideas and thoughts that you can do to make sure you increase your sales and increase profits. You're listening to the Sales Evangelist podcast, and I'm your host, Donald Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. The other day we asked in our Facebook group, why did you get involved in sales? Like, why did you choose this career path? And for me, there were several reasons. One, I wanted to make money, and this was a great opportunity to make a lot of money. Instead of getting a static, simple $30,000, $40,000 a year salary, I could make a lot more. But the problem was I wasn't making a lot more when I first started in sales. I didn't know what I was doing wrong. And then I was led to a course who taught me that I didn't need to try to make money. I needed to try to bring value. And I learned the process of bringing value. And next thing you know, I was closing big deals, and as a natural byproduct, earning the money. The long story short, we created a course to help you do the same. We want you to check it out. TSE Certified Sales Training Program. Find all the details. We have the first 2 modules absolutely free. Just simply go to thesalesevangelist.com/free course. Again, thesalesevangelist.com/free course, and let's help you close more deals. This episode is also brought to you in part by audible.com. If you've thought about using Audible in the past, but just never did it because maybe one reason or another, or you said, well, I just don't have the money. Well, I want to debunk that right now. It's a straight up farce, because that's not true, because I've been there. I made the same exact excuse. But then I realized it was a nominal fee to invest in my education every single month. Come on. I started to learn from some of the greats out there. Bob Berg, Jill Conrath, David Hoffeld. I mean, there's so many great authors out there writing some amazing things about sales, and you can learn from them. It's going to help your pipeline in the long run. But to let you test it out first, just go ahead and go to audibletrial.com/TSE and you'll get a free book and a 30-day free trial. Again, that's audibletrial.com/TSE. And when you test it out, come back and tell me, let me know how you enjoyed it. I know you're going to love it. Hey, we're back, and we're going to pick up where we left off. Kimberly is going to continue to share with you some of the ideas and thoughts that you can apply today to earn more revenue and also to increase your profits. Check it out. So in the role of a seller, I mean, this formula, like you're sharing there, you talked about how you're doing this for real estate, you're doing this for the car sales reps. This could apply to this. Anyone who's listening can take that same almost formulaic process and apply that as well.
Correct. Yes.
So what about the manager side of this? How long will a seller take, in your experience, to become competent with the Visnostic selling approach?
Well, it took me 30 years, but no, I've had a workshop and I've seen it. It depends on the student, right? Some students are C students, some students are A students, but I've seen people just get it during a workshop and they're not the same person after that 1-day workshop. In other words, they're way better.
Yeah.
You'll see things different. Like I've had people tell me the Visnostics approach is a thought process. So when you start thinking $, clock, and toolbox, you go look at your own marketing message. And first thing I would challenge everyone listening to this to do, including you, Donald, go to your website and go and pick out all the words that are results. And I bet you'll be disappointed in that you don't have as many results as you should. And that might trigger you to go, you know what? I need to go find results. I need to go talk to people that I've interviewed in the past and see how this has changed their life. You know, those are some examples. And how quickly did that happen for you? And then you'll realize that maybe the wording that you're using today isn't the wording that is the most impactful for your potential clients to be reading.
Interesting. A couple of things that you shared that I want to go back to. One is the idea that you're marketing. Your clients have some of the greatest information, but then two is a result oriented. I think naturally as a sales rep, some of the times what I've done is fallen back on the features and the benefits. Like, oh my goodness, this is going to save them so much time. This is going to help you so much, this feature, but it's not that, it's that result. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm going to give you a specific example because this book just came out yesterday. It's the special edition for realtors. Mm-hmm. I went to a gentleman's site. His name's Randy White. He's a real estate agent here in the city that I live. And I went thinking like a client, a potential person that might be wanting to put their house on the market. I wanted to see recommendations. What are people writing about him? And all of them sounded the same. Oh, he's professional. Oh, they're responsive. Oh, he knows how to price the house. But I had to dig to really find results on his website. And once I started segregating and separating the results from what he did, and that's what I mean by the thought process changes. You'll start seeing things very differently. There was this huge long paragraph, and I mean huge. It took up half a page. But this is what I dug out of that when I highlighted the results and I looked for timelines. Listen to this Visnostic statement. My realtor had a contract on all 3 of my homes in less than a week when all other realtors were averaging 100 days or more. Man, do you feel the power of that?
Sign me up.
I know, exactly. But this was buried in his website. I had to dig for it. But this is powerful because the reader now knows that person writing that recommendation, it wasn't just a lucky sell. This realtor sold 3 of his homes in less than a week. And he also did a fantastic job differentiating Randy White from the other options out there because all the other people were taking 100 days when he took a week. You know what? I haven't talked to Randy yet. He still doesn't even know that I did this or it's in his book. But I plan to go out and visit Randy and point this out to him because when you learn to think Visnostically, again, new word, you won't find it in the dictionary. When you start thinking this way, you'll view your marketing collateral, your brochures, your website, everything very differently.
Yeah. the cool thing about this, because especially as a sales rep, I think sometimes we get our mind jaded to think that marketing is, their job is just really to just put on those webinars for us and, get us, make sure we are top on a website or a Google search or whatnot. But some of the stuff here, if sales rep were to think like this, man, imagine how much better I would be if I was to use a verbiage like that in conversations, or was able to share in a story. Let's say I'm telling a story and I'm able to share the results side of what my client was sharing, a client sharing that thing. Again, I'm going to perform so much better.
Oh boy, are you. Now imagine this. Mm-hmm. Most companies.
I got the vision in my mind.
Good. Most companies have a sales organization and they have a marketing department.
Yeah.
Most organizations are completely oblivious to the fact that those two groups of people don't respect or work well together. Yeah. When was the last time you heard a sales organization say, "Oh my God, marketing, slow down, you're giving us too many leads"?
Hashtag never.
Yeah, exactly. And when does marketing ever say, "Oh my gosh, sales is just the best organization"? I mean, they're selling every lead we give them. They're closing every lead we give them. These are things you don't see. So it causes conflict. Whenever I do one of my workshops, and I call them a translation workshop, it's really important that marketing and sales is in the same room as we make the translation from features and functions into Visnostic language. In other words, it goes from vendor speak to client speak. And it's a world of difference. And when you get sales and marketing working together to put these statements together, it becomes one of the most powerful team building exercises I've ever seen. I wish people had done this for me when I worked with marketing and sales, because when sales and marketing are in alignment and they're in sync and they respect each other, magic happens. And when they are out of alignment, sales are not as good as they could be.
Yeah, I am a huge believer in that. I've seen it one too many times. I've worked in organizations where, straight up, we just didn't. I went back to what we were just talking about, where I felt like no matter what we did, the marketing team just did not get us. They were just like, I felt like they were just clueless. But again, we didn't communicate effectively. We didn't have any type of co-branded workshops or training like what you're sharing here. So we found ourselves just blaming each other for the poor results. And shameful to say that, but it was something that I did. And I'm grateful that I've been able to learn and to move on later in my life. I do want to talk about something though, like let's say there's a manager, she's listening to this particular episode and she's like, digging the concept that you're sharing here. How does she go about executing this with her team? Because it's something, it seems like you have to change your mindset, and it's not just like go out and blast a ton of phone calls and then you're going to close deals. This is a new way of thinking. How do we go about sharing this with a team or implementing, so to speak?
The first thing I always recommend leaders do, because I've been forced to take training, I've been forced to do workshops, and when we went in there, Donald, I cannot believe how many of my managers are like, I had no idea it was going to be that bad.
Yeah.
Or they didn't do their homework. So I always recommend any leader do your homework before you engage your sales team, because you want them to respect you. So make sure that you buy into what I'm teaching. Get the book, Visnostic Selling, read it. And I will tell you, this is what makes me different than every other book that you have in your library. I want to talk to you. I want to interact with you. And I get so excited when a reader connects with me on LinkedIn and says, "Oh my gosh, page 34 of your book, blah, blah, blah." And they start telling me their stories. And I give them immediately my cell phone. I said, "Let's talk." And I give them free consulting. So let me work with a sales leader. Let me talk you through some of your specific challenges, and let's figure out how we can help your sales team up their game.
Yeah. So giving them that first step first before you move on to, getting bigger stuff, just get into it, buy into it, fall in love with it, and just grow from there.
Right. And then after we talk, this is a very popular little thing that I've been doing. And if you listen to a podcast or if you read my book, I do this for free. I charge $1,500 for this, but I want you to get your best presenter on the phone with me. I'll do a Zoom call. I want to record it. I want to hear and see the best presentation you have. I'll dissect it and I will separate it. I'll transcribe that whole presentation and divide it into two areas. Anything that's vendor speak, which is we do this, we can do that, I do this, we even, me, vendor. Mm-hmm. I convert, I'm listening for that and I'll document that, but I'm also listening for clients say this or clients got this. Where's the results and where's the client? I did this for, well, I'll just tell you who it is. It's a Fortune 20 company, and it was on their hybrid cloud solution. And when I transcribed their presentation, it was by an executive with 28 pages of transcript. Half a page was actually what the clients really cared to talk about or hear about. Kidding. No. And their visuals on their slides were, they were real cool looking, but they were nighttime scenes of LA taken from a mountain above. And it had nothing to do with helping the audience retain the data. There were flow charts, there were architectural drawings. I mean, you want to put someone into a coma, that was the presentation to do.
Oh my goodness.
But if someone presents to me and it's perfect visualizations and it's all client speak, I'll tell you, don't waste your money on me. You guys have got it under control, but I have yet to meet a company that I can say that to.
Yeah. So overall, this is, again, one of the things that I like is that it's one, you're taking these sales reps, these organizations on a journey, so to speak, and especially your book outlined that. And two, by the time they get done, they have a tool that anyone on the organization from the lowest to the best seller can utilize and can see results. And to implement something like this, buy into the vision first, study the book, study the content, and take advantage of the offer that you're giving them.
Donald, you're the first person that nailed it. Yes, that is exactly right.
Well, I mean, you just gave us a couple stories, but are there any other individual reps that you would be willing to share an experience about your success story where you've been able to help them turn their business around or turn their pipeline?
Sure. I want to, since I already started real estate and it's on my mind and the book just came out yesterday, I do want to share one that was pretty cool about a realtor. This is Remax in Waco, Texas. Okay. The owners of the company had just gotten a new listing. Now, this house was very generic looking. It was very plain. There wasn't anything pretty about it if you took a picture, of the elevation, right? So there was another real estate agency that had this listing for 6 months and had very few showings and didn't get one offer. So I've been working with a Remax agency on Visnostic. So in a real estate world, features and functions are number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, and square footage. That is features and functions when you're talking real estate, okay? Yeah. But that's how everyone markets their house. And it's so conditioned that that's the way buyers look for houses. And, I shared the story of my house, which I won't go into here, but it's a really cool story. It's in the book. It's in both the books, in fact. She wrote a description and it said something like, when I get off of work, I can walk to the dock and take a boat ride to decompress after a long day's work. And I don't have to worry about the safety of the kids because the pool has a secured fence around it, which keeps it very separate from the colorful playground in another area of the yard. And the living area is so wide and open. There's the perfect place for a Christmas tree, but the fireplace is such a great area to roast marshmallows during Christmas with the entire family. And then there was something about the island in the kitchen was big enough where in crazy mornings, the mom and dad can be making lunches while everyone is around the island having breakfast. She just painted a vision, a story. And believe me, I butchered it. It's way better when it was in her ad. But she said, this is coming soon. And if this looks like something if this is the kind of life you would envision yourself living, meet me Saturday for our open house. When she drove up 15 minutes before the open house started, there was a line out front of the house. She got 7 offers that day and sold it for $30,000 above the asking price.
No.
What a contrast. Yeah.
Yeah, people competing for the house.
Yes. And get this. This is the killer. She got 3 new listings because people that were looking for a house were also selling their house. And they said they wanted her to market their homes the way she marketed that one.
Well, dang. Well, I see how, for me, go back to Visnostic, for a visionary side of it, I was visualizing what that home looked like. I visualized going to the dock. I visualized the Christmas. I visualized that island, for me as an individual, I didn't care at this point how many rooms it had. That was going to be secondary. You know what I mean? I wanted to see this place. Right. I wanted to be there.
That's right. And I always tell people, my husband and I love that beach bargain hunting.
We do too.
Every time we look at each other, we're like, I don't know why we love this, but we do. We record it. But we joke around because at the beginning, the people will be like, okay, well, what do you want? Well, we want a 2-bedroom, 2-bath on the beach. And we both laugh and we like, they're going to end up with an efficiency on the beach. What they really want is the beach, not the bedrooms or the baths. They want the beach experience. That's why they're buying it. And HGTV is just such a great example of Visnostics. And what people think they want is not really what they tell buyers or sellers that they want is not really what they want. And it's our job, and you can do it with Visnostics, to pull out what they really want with these statements.
I love it. If there's one major takeaway you'd like folks listening to this episode to walk away with, what's that one major piece of advice, Kimberly?
Man, stop selling features and functions. When I first talked to Mike Bosworth, I wrote Visnostic Selling and talked about his book a lot. And then I sent him a draft and I said, hey, I talked about you. I think this is very complimentary. Would you provide a quote for the cover? And he ended up writing my foreword, but he called me right away. And the first words out of his mouth was, you've cracked a nut I haven't been able to crack in 40 years. And he wanted me to change the name of the book to Death of Product Marketing. So if I can kill product marketing, I think every buyer on the planet will thank me for it.
Oh, I think we all would. It's definitely true. And imagine, like, I can see that becoming content in colleges. There's so much that they can learn from what you're sharing here.
Thank you.
You're definitely welcome on that. And congratulations again. And I want to make sure folks out there listening to it, if they want to get access to you and connect with you for the offer or get access to the book, how did they go about doing so?
Find me on LinkedIn and connect with me. Kim Slavik is the name, KIMSLAVIK. And if you just Google Visnostic, you'll find all kinds of stuff. VISNOSTIC. You'll find all kinds of stuff. But I did set up because, Donald, I want you to have this on your website one day. I want you to get results, and I want to give results to you. So anyone listening to this, please send me an email at podcast@DynaExec. And DynaExec is my company. It stands for Dynamic Executives. I like to blend two words, apparently. So DynaExec.com. And anytime I hear from someone and they mention Donald, not only will they get something, but I'm going to make sure that I get the feedback back to Donald so that he can help other people understand why doing podcasts with him is an important investment of their time.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. We'll make sure to put that back in the show notes as well. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, just go ahead and swipe up on a cover art and you'll be able to get access to this information. Kimberly, again, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show today. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Donald. It was great to get to know you. I look forward to working with you in the future.
Same to you. Man, I told you Kimberly was going to bring some good stuff. I encourage you to go find her on LinkedIn. You can find all the details in the show notes. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, it's pretty simple. Just swipe up on a cover art and then click on a link and you'll go straight to her LinkedIn profile. Let her know you heard her on the Sales Evangelist podcast. I know she'll be super stoked. Also, check out her book. We have a link back in the show notes as well. While you're there, take advantage of the Audible offer where they give you one free book, and a 30-day free trial, as well as check out TSE Certified Sales Training Program. We'll give you the first 2 modules absolutely free. Go and find all the details in the show notes or go to thesalesevangelist.com/free course. I do this stuff because I love it and I also want to help you. I want you to find more ideal customers. I want you to be able to have meaningful conversations and build strong value. I want you to close more deals. But most importantly, I do it because I want to challenge you each and every single day to go out and do big things. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the show today as much as I did. And if so, I ask you a little favor. Leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts or on Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to this podcast or the Fine Podcast. It's greatly appreciated. People come back behind you and they see it and they gain confidence in listening to our show. I know you love it. Go ahead and do that for me. It would be greatly appreciated. Our show today was produced by myself and the Sales Podcast Network. It was edited and mixed together by the one and only Jershon O'Bale. Our content writer and show note creator is Mrs. Shannon Rasmussen. You can find audio credits to this and all of our episodes in each of the show notes. And as always, I am your host, your coach, your mentor, your guide down the sales journey, Mr. Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. Sales Podcast Network.